Oh, welcome to Monday, welcome to Countdown Day, and today is a very, I think, apropos topic as voted on by fans, and it is the top 10 Transformers that are better updates over their original releases, right? So say the best update for, I don't know, over the original Sunstreaker, or the best update over the original Cyclonus, or the best update over the original Sideswipe. You get the idea, right? What have been the top 10 most successful updates over their original releases? That's our focus this time around in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby! Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton and let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below, also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this was a fan-suggested topic, and I think it's very appropriate because there's been a lot of debate lately over, you know, is the animated, United Animated Optimus better than the original? Is the United Silverbolt better than the original? There's been a lot of debate over the new Cybertron Starscream compared to the original, and some people are opting to say, no, the original was better. So sometimes newer is better, but not always. And I think the way the voting went here is very interesting and very telling on how many people jump onto new stuff and how many people actually think it through as to what the best update is. Because here's the thing, just because something's the newest doesn't necessarily mean it is the best update. Very, very, very interesting way that this one went. We're going to do our honorable mentions. All of these had the exact same number of votes. They did not make the list. They were just below the list. It was pretty interesting, like I said, the way the voting went this week. A lot of people said very, very difficult. A bunch of people, as always, tried to vote for, you know, 3 or 4 or 5, and I'm like, well, you can't, so they all had to be disqualified. The honorable mentions, however, include Select Cyclonus. Those that voted for it said he was the superior color scheme because he's toy accurate, so I guess you'd have to be a toy accurate fan for that. Select's Hound. Now, that's the 5-pack one. A lot of people called it Legacy Hound, but it's not really now because it's become rebranded. I can't speak to that. I don't have that Hound. I do have Detritus, and I love the mold and think it's pretty fantastic, so as a Hound, from everything I've seen, it looks like an absolute quintessential Hound. The Classics was a great update, but I think the new one is just a little bit better again. Legacy Motor Master. I said it before and I'll say it again. I did not like the Legacy Menasor. I don't like the combined form, but I do think that the Legacy Stunticons are excellent Stunticons. And Motor Master, just as a cab that turns into a truck and into a robot, very effective, very, very, very well done. So, and looks like he jumped off the cartoon screen for sure. And I guess Kingdom Legacy, Galvatron, who is a tremendous mold. So much bulk inside his body. I mean, you talk about hollowness. He's not even hollow in his body because he's full of Galvatronic goodness deep, deep, deep inside. So those are the honorable mentions. Select Cyclonus, Select's Hound from the 5-pack, the Commander Class Motor Master, and the Kingdom Legacy Galvatron. All of them tremendous updates over the originals, right? Over their G1 iterations. But they didn't make the list. Who did? You know what we're going to do. We're going to kick things off with number 10 first. Coming in at number 10, we have one that I have kind of been beating the drum on for a while, saying I think it's pretty much perfect as it is, or at least capable of becoming perfect. It is Earthrise, Optimus Prime. And a lot of people said, look, it has the truck cab like the original. True. It has better articulation on that truck cab than the original. True. It more captures the robot silhouette and the truck silhouette than the original. Probably true. Was it perfect right out of package? Well, arguably not. I painted the biceps red instead of leaving them gray or blue if you got the Netflix ones. I replaced the head. That was a great head. I replaced the head with the VNR head, which I think is in terms of a mainline Optimus, I think it's the most perfect Optimus head we've had. I did use an indigo blue to paint all of the gray on the lower legs, and not for nothing, I did do another version of this custom for our buddy Cyril, where I did remove the silver on the arms and the vents down bottom. So that's possible to do as well. Mine happens to have the backpack that came with the Siege swipe, and he happens to have the Siege side swipe. No, it came in the Centurion pack, but it's for Siege side swipe. You know, mine has the bigger ion blaster. Mine has the axe. Of course, this one came with a trailer. A lot of people say it's not as good as the original. No, probably not, but the trailer's still there. It didn't have a wheelie, but you can have a wheelie. I think a lot of people are going to see this and say, well, the 86 Optimus is coming up. That's probably going to make this one obsolete. But here's the thing, and here's what a lot of voters said. A lot of people that voted for the Earthrise said, even with the 86 coming, it doesn't seem necessary, and that's a commander class, which is going to be a far higher price point than a leader class. So a lot of people are saying, for value for money, this is probably the most successful, not perfect, but the most successful update we've had to G1 Optimus Prime. Make of that what you will. I understand the arguments, but I also understand the debate. Either way you cut it, Earthrise Optimus Prime, based on fan votes, takes the number 10 slot. Coming in at number 9, we go to G1 once again. We go to Studio Series 86 and Brawn. And a lot of people said, yeah, this is the best Brawn update we've had. For robot mode, absolutely. Though the Titan's Return is quite excellent. And if you opted to keep that one and stay with that one, I really can't fault you. If you have the Takara version of that one that's closer to these colors, I also can't fault you. This one has excellent articulation, though, to be fair, we are missing a wrist, which is a bummer this day and age. In alt mode, a lot of people said, well, the robot mode is pretty much perfect, and it's close on it. A couple of like waist tummy details are missing here. A little bit of black, a little bit of blue. Very minor. A lot of people said, though, the alt mode, while it looks great, the sides of it where the doors should be, that's a little janky, but I'll look past it because everything else this does, it does so tremendously well. I would agree. I would agree. I mean, this is definitely quintessentially Brawn, right from the very tippy top of his head to his silver knee pads, right down to his toesy toes. Yeah, Brawn takes the number 9 slot. Coming in at number 8, we have Studio Series 86 Hot Rod. Now, we all know my feelings on this by now. It got the votes and stuff, but I don't at all agree with it. I would say I personally would say the most successful update we've had to that Hot Rod, at least in terms of looks and animation accuracy and stuff, has to be the Power of the Primes, like that one before you attach all this stuff to it. Just for look, like it jumped off the cartoon screen, that one's the most accurate. Most successful, I think, is the Titan's Return. But fans voted for this. I don't know why they voted for it. I mean, this isn't the right color. None of the joints are the right color. But fans think that this looked like it jumped off the screen. I think it's ripe with imperfections, but this isn't about me. This is about you and how you feel. And enough of you felt that this guy is a very successful update to G1 Hot Rod that he was able to take the number 8. Yup, 8 slot. Coming in at number 7, we have this. And I think it's safe to say that the Missing Link Convoy is probably a quintessential entry on this list of updates because it is literally the definition of it, right? It is taking the G1 and literally updating it with better articulation, with, if you want the animation accurate version, I suppose you could say, you know, better coloration, I suppose. If you want the toy accurate version, it's pretty much the exact same thing. Not only better articulation, but it reduces things like parts forming by making the hands, you know, included and flippable into the arms. He now has a matrix, right? So like there's a ton added here to make this update kind of what it should have been 40 years ago. And you know what? Many people find it successful. Enough voters found it successful that the Missing Link Convoy was able to take the number 7 slot. Coming in at number 6, we have this guy. very popular is the Studio Series 86 Ultra Magnus. And a lot of people said really the same thing that you could say, I suppose, about many versions and updates of Ultra Magnus, like even the, I suppose, the Combiner Wars one you could say it with, the MP you could certainly say it with, but when it comes to the most successful, a lot of people said it's the 86 for a few reasons. One, it has the kind of trailer and cab be one bot as it was in the cartoon. Though that reduces the feature of being able to have the all-white cab by itself, it is very animation accurate because in the cartoon, he was never the all-white cab by itself. A lot of people said it hits the color palette even more accurately, what with the white legs, both thighs and shins, compared to the original, which was really, I guess because it was the flatbed, red thighs, even though the shins, I guess, were kind of white. And it reduces things like parts forming that the original had. So the original, plagued by parts forming, plagued by the detachable cab in a lot of voters' eyes. And of course, the most important thing, this one is chock full of articulation, as were the original, the G1. While the arms could go around and you had some elbow movement, and I suppose you could say wrists since they unplugged, basically the entire head and body was just one solid brick that kind of didn't do anything. This is a release that takes everything good about the G1 and improves it so that it looks like it popped right off of the movie screen. And Studio Series 86 Ultra Magnus had enough votes to take the number 6 slot. And now a deep hush falls over the crowd, bated breath as we have reached the ever-coveted, ever-popular halfway mark. And at the halfway mark, I do absolutely understand this one. It is Kingdom Rodimus Prime. So Rodimus Prime came out in G1, of course. Looked very... I always found he looked very skinny. I always liked his alt mode, but his robot mode looked very skinny. And it looked like he had like bags under his eyes. Like the face sculpt I always felt very strange about. And I was always like, he didn't look like that in the cartoon. He looked fuller. He looked more filled out in the cartoon than I think the original G1 toy did for his robot mode body. If anything, I feel like the G1 Hot Rod looked more like Rodimus Prime with a fuller, bulkier body than the Rodimus Prime did. Nevertheless, we've had a couple of updates to Rodimus Prime over the years. The titanium one, for example, we had a completely different take during one of the Unicron Trilogy elements where he turns into the truck, which I really, really like, actually. Then we had the Power of the Primes that a lot of people said, great alt mode. A lot of people even like that robot mode, but it is definitely highly stylized. And then we get the Kingdom one. The alt mode is quite excellent. Arguably, the trailer is a bit too big. Maybe it could have been leader class, but I look at it and I think, you know what? While I would like to have a little more red out over the hood here, you can get stickers. I think you might be able to get like a Toy Hacks label or something that does that. That would have been nice. However, and here a lot of people wish he had a different head. Some people have done like 3D printed heads and stuff because they say he looks too much like an old man here. Here's the thing. I think that this is the most successful update to Rodimus Prime because I always detested the character. Always. Until this guy came out. This is the first time I've held or seen a version of Rodimus Prime that I'm like, you know what? I really like this. It's won me over. It is the thing that won me over to the character as a whole, because I look at it and feel like it looks like a leader, it feels like a leader, and it's stoic like a leader. That's just me personally. In terms of fan votes, they said he has the right proportions of the body, the shape of the legs is correct, the shape of the arms is correct, they like the way the chest folds back, though some people say that they don't like this gap, I suppose, here, but I don't really notice it. For me, I understand it. I think that the fans nailed it with voting for this guy. But I also understand that he's not the Rodimus for everyone. He was, however, the Rodimus for enough fans that he was able to take the number 5 slot for most successful updates over the original release. Now, number 4 I completely agree with because number 4 is this guy. That's right, it is a Legacy Evolution Commander Class Armada Optimus Prime. And I said it before this ever came out. The original is an abhorrent mess. It is one of the worst Transformers I've ever had the displeasure of handling or reviewing. It is plagued by a garbage gimmick. It is plagued by gold plastic that's been known to crack. It is plagued by sometimes setting on fire. I think the or if it comes down to the original, the best route to go is the Bendy Prime, even though that doesn't really give you the full super mode, right? The one with the super mode, once it's in super mode, it does nothing. It's awful. I am sorry if there are people that say the original was excellent, but I said before this ever came out, the Legacy one is going to make the original obsolete, and it absolutely has. It has been renowned amongst fans for its articulation, for its transformation, for being able to be the base. It even has, I believe, minicon ports on the shoulders where you can attach minicons. It has every single thing that the original lacked. It takes everything that the original was, all the design elements, and it makes it not just better, but it makes it so much better that the original might as well not even exist. It tweaks the colors, it makes the articulation there, it makes the transformation, you know, fantastic. I've even heard, and I can't say this, I guess because I haven't analyzed it myself, but a lot of voters said the transformation mimics the way he transformed on screen. That is absolutely astonishing. Yes. While it's not for me, I can absolutely understand and absolutely agree with voters that Legacy Armada Optimus Prime takes the number 4 slot. Top 3, we're into the top 3, and I think number 3 is actually very, very interesting because it's Siege Jetfire, Skyfire, whichever name you want to use. And here's why it's interesting, because the way the votes came in for him were two ways. One, people said in terms of a mainline offering, something that's not MP, that's not a Phoenix, or that's not the masterpiece, in terms of mainline and kind of value for money for that mainline, when you take all of the armor and stuff off, this guy very, very, very much looks like the original cartoon. Even though he looks exactly like the Netflix War for Cybertron cartoon, he also looks very much like the original cartoon. Much more than the G1 release looked like the original cartoon, and much more than the Leader Class Generations release looked like the G1 cartoon. This one does it the best, with the right shaped backpack and the right shaped wings, and even the right shaped face and head sculpt. However, I lumped with this votes that came for this guy that justified him, because if you put all of the armor and stuff on, this looks much more like we would expect him to look with all the armor on, rather than what the G1 did, right? The G1 didn't look almost Robotech-y enough. This almost looks more Robotech-y than I guess the G1 does, as weird as that is. I get it. People voted for this for both an increase of toy accuracy and both an increase in animation accuracy, and both camps said his articulation is second to none, way improved over the original, and his transformation is second to none, way improved over the original. And that's why fans voted Siege Jetfire / Skyfire to come in at the number 3 slot. Coming in at number 2, we have one that, you know what, I'm not surprised about. Some people tried to vote for 2 here, saying it's the same mold, but that's not what the question says. The question says 1, and just because things are the same mold doesn't mean they're equally successful. Number 2 is Studio Series 86 Ironhide, and it's I still feel like the Earthrise one is the most successful, but fans voted for this one. They voted for it and said there's no parts forming, though it seems like they forgot that the part that forms is the one box, which is an actual feature. But okay, I'll give it to you. No parts forming. They said the robot silhouette looks super accurate, and I agree with that. In fact, about the only deco inaccuracy that I think I could find was the missing yellow stripe on the side. And I did add that, and of course anybody who has the battle damaged version, you know it's been rectified on that as well. So I get it. A lot of people that voted for this said Ironhide / Ratchet, and I said you can't count both of them together, because some people voted specifically for this guy, some people voted specifically for Ratchet. And I'm going to explain why I wouldn't lump them together now, even though they're the same mold. I don't think that they are equally successful, even though both of them, yes, finally gave these guys heads like they were supposed to have. Fun fact, the original did have a face, a head, so to speak, behind the screen. I never knew it was a head until I was an adult. I never knew it was a face until I was an adult, so I get the appeal of an extra head here and on Ratchet. But in alt mode, this guy, well, in robot mode, this guy's missing pretty much nothing. In alt mode, he was missing his yellow stripe. for Ratchet, in this mode, he doesn't have his proper red crosses on the shoulder. He has a new symbol, which isn't accurate. And I understand why. Like, I get the copyright and all that stuff, right? But then when we get to alt mode, he's missing not only another red cross that's lower on the door, but also his red line down the side. I appreciate that people only looked as deep as the shape of the mold and the mold itself, but there's more to the story, and that's why they can't go counted together. As far as Ironhide goes here, yeah, you know what? I will say this. Whether you're a fan of the Earthrise or this one, I think that we pretty much, in the main line, have reached a point where we're Ironhided out. We have multiple excellent versions. You want a Cybertronian mode, get the Siege. You want an Earth mode with the one box, get the Earthrise. But you want the one that probably looks like it most jumped off the screen, you want to get the one that aligns with fans and fan voters the most, then get Studio Series 86. Enough fans support him that he took the number 2 slot. And here we are, very tippy top, number 1 once again. And number 1 is probably not going to surprise anyone. Didn't surprise me. Number 1 is Kingdom Cyclonus. I mean, this is perfect. This is a perfect Cyclonus. Anybody who doesn't like this mold or doesn't think it's a perfect Cyclonus, I don't know what to tell you. I understand that some people say that they wish that the wing was on the back rather than on the shoulder, but I think having it on the shoulder, A, keeps the arm silhouette, and B, allows for a better range of motion. The only, the head sculpt is perfect. The only criticisms really that people had is they said, this guy suffers from the yellowing issue. And they've tried to like lighten these parts here and his hands. Mine's not discolored as much as some people, though I would like to repainted some of this rose gold. I don't know what we exactly call this, rose silver. I don't know what we exactly call it. And I did, like you can see up here on the shoulders, for example, I did use a lilac to kind of paint those hinges in. Actually, I painted those in. I painted this one back here in for plain mode. I painted the ones that are folded away behind the wings, and I painted the ones here as well, that purpley color. So there's ways around it, but let's take the discoloring out of it. Let's assume that that didn't happen. Then look at this. Look at the silhouette. Look at the clean plain mode with no robot kibble hanging out underneath, and look at the brilliant transformation. I understand that this is probably a little expected for people. They probably would have guessed, yes, Cyclonus is going to be at the top. As the most successful update over G1. And you know what? If you voted for the selects, I mean, that was an honorable mention. Cyclonus, both of the versions of this mold, whether toy accurate or animation accurate, really were mentioned here, either as an honorable mention or the very top of the list. Hard to argue with that kind of success. Yeah, Kingdom Cyclonus takes the number 1 slot. And there we go, 10 down to 1 once again, and other ones that had votes didn't make the list or the honorable mentions. The new Magmatron, I would agree with that. He's bigger. Apparently he has better articulation from what I hear, and I like the gold being used over the yellow, so I agree with that one. Titan's Return Top Spin. I still say Titan's Return is the golden era. I mean, look at Top Spin, look at Trigger Happy, look at what we got at a deluxe class price point then, and in Canada, the deluxe class price point then was like 17 bucks. I mean, what you got in that package for $17.99, I think it was, is astonishing. Really astonishing. So I get it. Plus, it was not just a jump starter, right? Studio Series Ironhide, the Voyager one from the movie. Sandstorm, but they didn't specify if they meant United or if they meant T30. That was 1 vote. Classic Starscream had some votes. Siege Spinister, absolutely. I love the original, but the Siege one is spectacular. Legacy Legacy Transmetal 2 Megatron, absolutely. Legacy Metal Hawk, 86 Ratchet. United Silverbolt. Transform Elements Optimus Prime. Oh, the T30 Takara version of Metroplex, though I have the regular Metroplex. I can agree with that one. The HasLab Unicron had some votes. Siege Sideswipe. Titan's Return Trigger Happy. Kingdom Blaster. I thought he was going to get more, to be honest with you. Earthrise Starscream. I would say the Siege is better than Earthrise. Studio Series Fallen. 86 Rumble. Kingdom Inferno. let's see. Titans Return Fort Max. Legacy Menacer altogether. Kingdom Pipes. Earthrise. They said Earthrise Scourge, but I don't think there was an Earthrise Scourge. I don't know if they mean the Velocitron one or if they mean the Studio Series one. I'm not sure there. GTS Cyclonus. Yes, absolutely. GTS Lognut. Yes, absolutely. The new Legacy Evolution Bludgeon. The Reveal the Shield or Hunt for the Decepticons Bludgeon, maybe it was. Kingdom Dinobot. 86 Wrecker. Yes. MP44. 86 Grimlock. The Takara Legends Blur. Dark of the Moon Sideswipe. Earthrise Run Amok. The multi-pack Gold Bug over the original Throttlebot, absolutely. Kingdom Huffer over the original Huffer. Kingdom Tigatron, Generation Springer. Yes, a brilliant mold. Legacy DevCon over the BotCon exclusive one that used the Deluxe Scourge mold, I would agree. MP Ironhide, Studio Series Blackout, Titans Return Croc, and I don't know, let's say Netflix Soundwave. Them and so much more. For example, the Studio Series 86 Dinobots, they all had boats too. Woo, so many wonderful updates. Let me know which ones your favorites were. Did they make the list or not? I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member while you're at it. Hit the subscribe button. Stick around. Have some fun with us here on the channel. And don't forget that somehow, some way, man, each and every single day, you right there, please and thank you. You do make a difference in the world, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit. Either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.